Welcome to Nerd on Nerd with me, Jack Hempster.
And me, Liam Underwood. And in this episode, we're going to be talking all about Berserk, Volume 1, a Japanese manga book. But before we get to that, it's time for my favourite segment, catching up with Jack and Liam. So how are you today, Jack?
I'm good, Liam. How are you?
Very well, thank you. What's new in the life of Jack?
I'm buying a car. That's new.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Come
I've bought a car.
Alright, so what type of car is it?
Vauxhall Corsa.
I used to have one of those back in the old days.
I've got a new one.
Oh, so what's fancy about this one?
I went through... So, I said I've spoken to you since I bought it.
Yeah.
And sort of explained to you, so I'll tell the listeners. I don't know anything about cars.
Right, here's the thing, right? When we were just having that little discussion there, I sort of made it sound like I didn't really know what you were up to. And now you're just sort of like lifting the veil behind the production that we put into this show.
Oh, sorry about that, buddy. So anyway, I don't know anything about cars, but I do know stuff about technology. And by that I mean, I know that when I see something that's cool and technological, I want it.
Give me an example.
So, for example, looking at cars,
Yeah.
some of the cars had screens in them.
Where's the screen?
On the, the center console?
The dashboard?
Do some people say center console? Or is that what
Possibly.
they say about starships?
Yeah, I've never driven a Starship, so I do not know.
Fair enough. Yeah, the dashboard. Like in the
Okay.
middle, where the radio is on some cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got like... So some of them had panels there, or like
Yeah.
a screen.
Is that so you can see behind? That has like a behind
No.
camera, helps with
That's
reversing
it.
and stuff?
I think if you've got a behind camera, that would go there.
Okay.
I don't have a behind camera on this car.
Okay, so what's the screen for?
It like hooks up with your phone, and then you can run phone apps and stuff through it.
Such as?
Google Maps,
Right, hang on. So,
music and podcasts.
Wait, hang on a second. Let me just
Go on.
get this in my head. So you're driving.
Yeah,
The screen is, I'm assuming, to your left.
yeah.
How high up is it? Because if you're like maps and stuff, you're going to want it kind of in your periphery, yeah?
No, because it will talk to you.
Okay, right.
It does the like turn left up ahead.
Yeah, it's normally
You
good
can just
to be
glance
able
down
to...
it. Liam, I'm pretty positive that the car companies that make these cars have done more research into this than me and you sitting in our chairs talking about it. So I think we can safely assume that if they've built it that way, it's probably all right. Because it's not just one car; it's most cars with screens.
Yeah, what I'm just saying is,
You think
to
they're
me,
wrong?
it seems dangerous to have to
Right,
look down at
yeah.
a screen and away
No,
from
I got
the
you.
road.
So you are doubting the guys that have made and designed cars for years and have
Yeah.
been selling these cars and had them safely, certified on roads and stuff. No, yeah, okay, fair
Yeah,
enough. Good
because,
point.
right, let me just explain, right?
Oh, this is why people think I'm a dick.
Yeah, because let's say you're driving, yeah? And you're looking at the road, which is a very important part of driving, but you don't know where you're going.
Don't get sarky at me because you're wrong because the car companies are doing it this way.
Right, but can you,
So don't
can
be
you
a sarky
see
dick
why
about it. You are
doesn't
wrong.
quite make sense using it for
No,
maps at least?
because when you look at your sat nav, which is in the middle of your so say, do you use sat nav?
Yeah, like...
Do you have one of the ones that like attaches to your windshield?
or
to your-
no, it doesn't
you know-
attach to the windshield. I have
It's-
like a base for it to go on because it was making
Yeah.
the windshield dirty.
Yeah, fair enough. So
Yeah.
when you look at that, you're aware
Yeah.
that you aren't looking at the road, right? You're looking at the sat nav.
Well, I can look at it with my periphery.
I'm sorry, what? How good is your peripheral vision?
Good enough that I can see a sat nav if it's in my peripheral vision, and I
The
don't
details
have to
on a sat nav,
look
you
down.
could see a roundabout with 4 exits and go, cool, I'm taking the 3rd exit.
I can glance quickly.
Right, which is you looking away from the road. I'm not going to stare at the fucking screen, Liam.
You might.
No, yeah, but I could do that if I had a normal sat nav.
I'm not sold on it. That's all I'm saying. It seems dangerous.
Luckily for me, Liam, I don't actually need your approval, which is, as you can tell, because I've bought a fucking car. It's got one.
So all I'm saying is, like, I feel like that screen possibly will have other uses, but maybe not a dangerous one like the maps, is what I'm saying.
I honestly can't get my head around why you think the maps is the dangerous bit.
Because I'm worried, Jack, that you're going to be driving in an area you don't know, and you're lost, and you're driving, and you look down at the maps to see where you're going, and you take your eyes away from the road, and then the next thing you know, bam, accident, you're dead.
But you could... What I'm saying,
You're
Liam,
dead.
What I'm saying,
No,
Liam...
you're dead. You can't say stuff when you're dead.
What I'm saying is,
Sorry,
you
dead.
could do that with your sat-nav.
How?
If you looked at your sat-nav, your eyes would be off the road.
It wouldn't, no. Because
they
even
would.
if I looked at the sat nav, my peripheral would still see the road.
Yeah, if I look into the middle, if you look at your radio, people have radios in their cars that they use when they're driving, Liam. It's there.
Oh, it's dangerous though.
It's not. Otherwise, they wouldn't allow it.
Right, it's like how you shouldn't text and drive. Now, if you held
That's
your
because
phone
you have
up,
to take a hand off the wheel, and you have to hold a phone up, and it's distracting.
you can drive one-handed if you have like.
That's
an
no,
automatic.
you can't. That's against the rules.
What rules?
Did you pass your test?
Yeah.
Are you legally allowed to drive? Those rules,
Legally.
the rules of the road.
They say that you should. Okay, no.
You know when the police pull you over for being on your phone, Liam? That's not like they're not just going to slap your hand and go, "Don't worry, there aren't really rules on the road."
Explain
we
something to me.
we just made that up so people would listen to us.
No, sure. Explain something to me then. So you're driving with two hands on the wheel, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you're driving.
You're allowed to use your other hand to change the fucking gear stick. Yeah.
Okay, but what about changing the radio?
That's probably not advised.
But you
it's
just
not
said that
against the
that was
rules.
what people do.
Yeah, it's not advised. I'm not going to be touching mine
Right.
because I'm going to be using it as a sat nav.
Can you not use it as a sat nav and a radio? Like, do you not have a radio as well?
Yeah, but I have controls on one of the flappy paddles next to the wheel.
Yeah, same. I've got little, like, you can do the volume and stuff on the wheel.
Yep.
The future, man, it's amazing.
It's fantastic. I didn't realise until I got home and the guy gave me like a booklet thing and was like, oh, you know, it's this one in the book if you want to have a look and see what you've got, sort of thing.
Yeah,
Because it was me and it was very quick and I didn't really ask a lot that I probably should have.
Did you test drive it?
No, I can't. I've not driven for 7 years.
So you didn't test drive your car?
No.
Okay.
I mean...
Did your dad test drive it, at least?
No.
Okay.
Right, sorry. What does it matter?
Because what if you don't like the way it drives?
I'm not going to give a shit because it's a car.
So can I just use an example?
Yeah, go on.
I drove for probably 7-8 years with in a manual, right? So that was my first car. Drove for ages in a manual, and when I was looking at new cars, I was like, oh, it doesn't really bother me if I get a manual or an automatic, but I'll test drive both. Okay, I test drove a Vauxhall Corsa, like a newer model. Bearing in mind what I was driving was an older model.
Yeah.
And the way the newer models have their clutch, for some reason, it's a lot higher than like the car I was used to. So when I was test driving it, I just couldn't fucking like. It was like a learner driver was driving it because the clutch was just completely throwing me off. So I was like, right, that's kind of solidified in my mind. I do not want that car because I can't get on with the clutch.
Right. See, now, just a quick question that I have for you.
Okay.
Is that possibly, and I don't want you to answer till I've finished, could that possibly be because you had already convinced yourself that you wanted an automatic, but you sort of felt like you needed an excuse to pay the slight extra amount to get an automatic?
No, I hadn't test drove an automatic at that
But
point.
had you... No. But, see, I haven't driven an automatic, but I know that I probably would quite like an automatic, but I'm also fine with a manual.
Well, no, because I didn't want to pay extra, really, if I could have helped it.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. I know you
Yeah.
didn't want to pay extra, so did you possibly subconsciously want an automatic, so come up with some sort of bullshit excuse?
No, I mean, when I was at this
Okay.
point in looking, I had zero idea of automatic. It wasn't really on my radar. It was only happenstance that.
When did you get this car? In like the 80s?
Well, no, like, obviously I knew what automatics were,
Okay.
but I didn't think I'd bothered looking into getting one. It was only I was at a different garage, I guess, where you buy cars from. Car shop.
Showroom?
It wasn't a show.
No, it's called a showroom though.
Well, it depends. If you go to like a proper place, but if you're buying it second hand, some of us can't afford fancy first-hand cars, Jack.
I'm on a plan, Liam, so don't be a dick about it.
No, but it's brand new, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. Some of
but
us
I'm not
can't
paying
afford that.
like 16 grand.
No, you're doing like a monthly thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. So I went to a garage and I got to test drive a couple of manuals, and then they were like, "Well, we have an automatic if you want to give it a go." I was like, "Well, I've never tried it before. Why not?" So that's what swung me, because I was really struggling with the clutches. I don't know if they've like changed the way they're building clutches or something, but that's why I think it's useful to test drive something.
Okay, I get your point,
Yeah.
but I want to point you back to what I earlier said, which is, like, that makes sense to me. What you're saying makes sense to me.
Yeah.
If you've driven for 7 years. I have had a period of time, 7 years of time, where I haven't driven a car, right?
Yeah.
I am not getting behind the wheel of this car until I've got lessons. When I get the car, I'm booking someone to say, look, I need a refresher, like, couple of lessons, just to
course.
remind me of all the shit, right?
Yeah. That's probably smart.
So you said, getting behind that car, it felt like being a learner again.
Yeah.
I am going to be a learner again.
Okay.
So I'm going to learn this car.
I have a question.
If I'd got a different car, Liam, it wouldn't have mattered if I sat in it and put my foot down and was like, oh, the clutch is in a different place. Because it would have been different than the learner car that I was learning in if I'd booked someone beforehand.
Yeah.
I want to learn with this car.
But it is possible, right, theoretically, that you could get in a car and be like, oh, I don't like the way this feels.
No, I don't think so. I don't think I can. I don't think I'm going to be like that.
Okay.
Because I haven't driven. I'm probably not going to like the way anything feels because I'll probably be terrified that I'll kill someone.
Yeah. How are you going to get the car from
My
the
parents
showroom?
are going to drive it.
Okay. And then, so when you're booking these lessons, you're going to book it for in your car or just in a...
Yeah, in my car. Yeah, that's the whole point. I'm going to book it in my car.
Is that like... Because I obviously, I've never looked into doing lessons like that. Is that a thing? Because I know, like...
Yeah, because they teach people... there are learners who get taught in the car that they've already been bought.
Okay, yeah.
Also, I'm not a learner, so like...
No, like you have a driving licence.
Yeah, actually, no, yeah, that's the point. Because some driving instructors have like their own set of pedals, right?
Yes, that's what I'm thinking, yeah.
But I'm not a learner. I can legally drive a car.
Yeah. But
So they're not going to be like, well, I can't take you out. Because I'll be like, no, you don't understand. If you don't take me out, I will just teach myself. And that's not going to end well for anyone.
What about getting like your dad to teach you?
No.
No?
My family doesn't do teaching each other.
Why not?
Because I think my granddad taught my mum and possibly my dad as well how to drive.
Okay.
And it's apparently just not good. Also, like, it's because they get more... Like, your family, because they're closer to you, are more worried about things that they shouldn't worry about.
Yeah.
So I don't particularly want them to teach me.
Fair enough. Are you excited to be back on the road again?
Yeah.
That's good.
Just make life easier.
Yeah. I mean, I really want self-driving cars to be a thing already.
Yeah, but I think it's good to know how to drive.
Oh, yeah, like, don't get me wrong. I think if you have a self-driving car, you should know what to do if you need to take over.
Yeah.
But the whole point of a self-driving car is you should never need to do that.
Yeah.
Like, if I think for self-driving cars to be at their maximum efficiency, everyone needs to have one.
Yeah, which probably won't happen for,
years.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm very excited for that to be a thing. I think, like, I'm not as into tech as you are, but I think that's the sort of thing that I'd be happy to be an early adopter of.
I mean, you could be now, Liam.
It's very expensive, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'm not.
Save up.
Nah, there's other things I'd rather
Stop
buy.
buying DVDs.
Nah. To be fair, I don't buy DVDs that much anymore.
You bought that Arrow DVD recently.
It was a Blu-ray.
Sorry, Blu-ray.
Yeah, I buy a lot of Blu-rays, but I haven't bought DVD in a long time.
Fucking asshole.
It's a dying format.
Yeah.
You
You knew what I meant.
Have you been up to anything else, or just sort of car shopping?
I mean, there's been other stuff. No, both weekends now have been the car shopping. So
Yeah.
no,
What
not really.
colour is the most important question?
Oh, well, I wanted... Like, I don't particularly mind colour, because again, you've seen what I look like. I don't particularly care about my appearance.
That's a polite way of saying it.
Yeah, exactly. Tramp,
Yeah.
I have been called by some people. But, so I was like, the only thing I said to him, all I care about,
Yeah.
colour-wise, is I want it to... I suppose, after saying that, this is going to sound like I am quite picky, but I'm not. Because I would have gone with any colour, but I was like... Because they had just got new ones.
Okay.
So he was like, there's, you can pretty much choose anything.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I'd prefer black, but I'm happy with grey.
Okay.
And like he was like, all right, I'll have a look around because they've just done the new ones. There should be some floating around. I'll see, as close as, I could get you a car within 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And he rang me the other day and went, there's no black ones left, so I'm getting a grey one. Okay. Which I'm fine with.
Yeah, I mean, so when I was looking, I was the same because I have this perfect logic where if I have a car, black, it's going to show dirt less, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which to me that makes sense. But everyone I've spoken to about it, who are like adults and shit, are like, no, black shows dirt.
It shows dust.
Yeah, like it really. There was a point where I got really facetious with my mother because this was a while back. I was shopping for cutlery, and I found I can't remember what colour it was, but she was like, "No, you don't want to get that. It will show dirt." I think it was like a black thing, like a black plate, and it just really wound me up. So,
which bit wound you up? The fact that your mum was telling you this and you thought you were right.
I was like, how can a black thing show up dirt?
But she is right.
Ridiculous. Yeah, but it's ridiculous.
Okay. At the time, you thought it was ridiculous.
No, I still think it is. I think the issue is that they're not making things black enough.
No, because then it would show clearer. Because the issue is that dirt isn't black.
Well, it should be.
That's the association you're doing. Is you're thinking of like a dark puddle of mud.
Yeah. Or like, well, it depends what you're eating. Like I had a roast dinner the other night with a lot of mint sauce, and mint sauce is black when that's left on your plate.
Right. Yeah. So yes, if you were just eating mint sauce, then yeah, you're right.
Exactly. Thank you. So yeah, I got a silver car because apparently silver is the best for not showing dirt, although I think that's bullshit.
Fair enough.
But like, white is obviously the worst, right?
Yeah, I'd think white would be the worst. Although,
Yeah.
again, dust wouldn't show on a white car.
Well, actually, and thinking about it, right, the issue I've got with my car is I've had to park underneath like a telephone pylon thing.
You've got the bird poo.
But yeah, now if it was a white car, I probably wouldn't see it.
No, you would, because bird poo's white and black.
I need a white and black car, Jack.
You need a speckled car.
I mean, the way it's going, it won't be long.
That's disgusting. Clean your car.
No, I did. That's the most annoying thing. I literally cleaned it like 3 weeks ago, and then a week later, birds just shat all over it.
Stop parking under the tree.
Oh, well, I will be soon.
Oh, because yeah, your news.
Look at that. Look at that. That was brilliant.
I wish you'd stop pointing out the segways, because it sort of detracts from them.
If we don't point them out, people won't know that they're there.
I mean, they will.
Nah. I'm moving soon, hopefully. Well, definitely, but hopefully, if you know what I mean.
You're definitely moving soon, but you're trying to
Yep.
sort out where.
Yes. So I've been served my notice by my crazy landlady.
Yeah, because you killed all those fish. She's scared.
The
The government contacted her and said, "There's these mutant fish that
You
will
need to
not
shut
die."
your face right now because I went to the pond on what day? Sunday, a couple of days ago now, and there were, I shit you not, at least 20 to 25
Yeah, that's what I mean.
fish.
There's two. You killed them all, the original ones, and you've bred their they died. Then they had offspring children that had been born in the time period that the fish were dead. They would
Right.
spawn eggs. They
Let's
hatch and become mutant fish.
Let's explain for our listeners because
I think we've told them.
yeah, but you know, let's tell
New
them again.
listeners know.
When I moved into this place, there was a pond in the back garden that I didn't really know about, and it had 4 quite big fish in it. And I was like, right, well, I guess this is my responsibility now to keep these alive. Great, which I didn't really want, to be honest. Like I don't want kids.
It's sort of like one of those comedy films from the 90s where a dad who didn't know he was a dad suddenly gets the kid sprung on him. And
It's exactly like Jungle to Jungle, yes. Exactly like that. So I was feeling, and I think you might remember, Jack, like at first I got quite into it and I was quite excited that I had this power to like look after something. And do you remember like you'd come and visit and I'd show you how the fish were doing?
Yes, I do remember that.
Yeah, it was very exciting, wasn't it?
No.
I got a bit into it and I brought some more fish.
Would you say that's the worst mistake you've made at the place?
No.
Okay.
So I brought 6 fish to give company to the 4 big ones. And, you know, as time goes on, the 4 big ones, one just disappeared. Don't know where it went. Like, if it was to die, you would expect there to be a body. It just disappeared.
Well, something ate it. Isn't that what we sort of decided in the end?
Has to be. Has to. It's the only logical conclusion, right?
Yeah.
And then, like, time went on a little bit longer and I definitely forgot to feed them for a while.
Yes.
And then there was at one point where I had some gardeners come in because the garden was a bit out of control. And this was just after I'd been away for a week. And when I came back, I'd found a dead fish floating, which was very tragic. But they hadn't been fed in a while, so also sort of to be expected. So I did the heroic thing, and I fished it out and just sort of plonked it at the bottom of the garden and just let nature take care of it. And had the gardeners in and I explained the situation. I said, could you just look to see if there's any signs of life in that pond? But I doubt it, because I feel like the water's probably been polluted. And like the other thing is, I don't want people to think I'm just like an irresponsible owner here.
You are.
No. Let me explain, Jack. There is a pump in the pond, but there's a leak somewhere in it, and I've tried to look at where, and I couldn't. There's been times when I've had wellies on, I've been in the pond, wading around, trying to find where this leak is, and I couldn't do it.
But you didn't feed them.
Yeah, ignore that. So if I
That's
turn the pond on...
that's the bit that makes you the bad owner, Liam.
No, because if I turn the pump on to filter out all of the impurities in the pond, what it then does is it actually drains the pond, which is terribly inconvenient. So the gardeners came and they were like, we didn't see any life, so it's safe to say that any fish that were in there are probably dead. So I thought, you know what? Don't want to deal with this anymore. I'm just going to drain it. So I turned the pump on. And I was only going to do it for a couple of hours, just because I figured if I get it to like half level, I can have a little cheeky check to see if there's anything in there. Makes sense, right?
Yeah, sure.
I forgot. Just left it on overnight, to be honest. I went out the next day and I was like, what's that noise? Oh shit, yeah. I went to check, and because the pond is terribly built, this broken pump didn't actually fully drain it. There was like 3 or 4 medium-sized puddles at the bottom of the pond. And staring up at me was a good like 6 fish. So I filled it back up. And from there, every now and again I might forget to feed them for a month or two, but they seem to be quite happy. And don't forget, it's not like the pond is barren. There's vegetation and stuff in there, so they can munch on that if they need to. And now so all of the big ones that were initially there when I moved in, they've gone. Don't know where, but they've gone.
They're probably dead.
Yeah, almost definitely. But there are now at least 3 generations of the fish that I brought. We're looking at, I think, at last count, I counted a good 20 that I could see at one time. So there's probably more that just weren't coming for food at that time.
But are you trying to claim this as like, look what I've done, I've got all these fish?
I'm trying to claim it as like, it's not a complete disaster.
Right, okay, because it's not, but that's thanks to like Mother Nature and the fish themselves. It's got literally nothing to do with you.
No, I could have just killed them all.
Those fish, this story isn't the story of some fish that got a wonderful owner who raised and cared for them. This is a story of survival.
Yes.
This is the story of, like, this is their post-apocalypse. They got saved from a really nice fish store where they were looked after.
Well, we don't know they were looked after in the fish store.
Probably better than you were.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say.
The thing is, fish require a lot of, what's the word? Motivation. Like, it's easy to forget they're there. Because they're at the bottom of the
right, sorry. The fish themselves don't require motivation.
No, I need to be motivated.
Yeah, got you. I thought you were talking about the fish. I was like, what are you motivating the fish to do?
Like, put it this way. If I had a dog, for example, and I forgot to feed it, it would remind me.
Yes.
Fish can't do that. So I have to remember.
Wait, are you now trying to blame the fish?
A little bit.
I feel like you're trying to blame sort of everything except yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because other people... Also, you're not meant to feed them when it's too cold. Because they can't digest food properly. Their digestive system stops working if it gets below a certain temperature.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, right, when you say, looking after fish, it's like the easiest thing in the world, there's complications to it.
I mean, it's the easiest pet to look after.
I disagree. I think something that could actually
half the year you don't have to feed it. That's not a reason that makes it harder, Liam. That's easier.
What about like a cactus?
That's not a pet.
Okay.
It's a plant.
What about a Venus flytrap?
Also a plant.
People act like they're pets sometimes, though.
No, they don't.
Okay. Well, all I'm saying is, I there's now more fish than when I started, so I did a really good job.
Nature did a very good job, despite you.
Well, I think really what I've done is I've bred some amazingly resilient fish.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. Those are Spartan fish,
yeah,
for sure. If you put any other breed of fish in there, they would devour it.
There's definitely been a time when I looked in there and it looked like there was a fish swimming around with another fish carcass in its mouth.
Yeah, because they've definitely had to eat each other to live, Liam. 100%.
Can fish turn cannibal?
Yes, and they do.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't think, because they're not meat eaters. Like, I know
I'm pretty positive they can eat decaying stuff.
But they wouldn't kill a fish, would they?
Fish kill other fish, a lot. Even non-cannibal ones.
Right, so I thought it would be too general here, because I don't want people writing in being like, well, obviously, what do you think whales and sharks eat? Like, yeah, I don't have a fucking whale.
Yeah, you're talking about specifically,
garden.
Pond goldfish.
Yes.
I'm pretty positive. I don't know, because I don't raise fish.
No.
I'm not a fish expert like you, Liam.
Of course.
But I'm pretty positive that goldfish can eat. Possibly they don't kill... Maybe they don't eat, take chunks out of fish.
Yeah, yeah.
But if there's, a decaying carcass of another fish...
They might have a little nibble.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know how we got onto the fish sitch.
You were talking about moving.
Yeah, I know. I don't know how the fish... Well, I guess this is how the fish relate to that. There's not a pond in the new place.
So you don't have fish?
So I won't be able to move... Because I was actually really willing to move the fish with me. I feel like they've earned that right. Or they might just feel like that's more punishment. Yeah,
no, definitely. You should leave these fish. They're going to get a lovely new owner. How long do you have left until you have to move out?
End of November. So about, a couple of months.
Yep.
So, the thing is, I was quite relaxed all through September when I was looking for places. It wasn't a big push. But over the last week, places have been coming up on Rightmove, for example, and their availability isn't until, the middle of December. So that's when I started panicking a little bit, because I was like, don't want the perfect place to come up, but I then have 2 weeks, so I can't. I'd have to move back home for 2 weeks, and it would just be a nightmare. So on Saturday, we went, looked at a few places, found a really nice one, and have kind of... The way renting works has changed since I looked for this place,
right?
3 years ago, where it used to be, you'd go to a letting agent, they'd show you around a place, you'd like it, and you pay a deposit, and they'd take it off the market. Now... You have to actually apply. So you fill out a load of forms send them, and they would then take them to the landlord, and the landlord basically says if they want to go ahead with you or not.
I don't think renting's changed. I think it's always been two different ways of doing it. Because I think a landlord can just say like, oh, I don't really care, just get someone in there.
Yeah, because I mean,
and then the letting agent doesn't care. But if a landlord says, I want to vet people, I think you have to let them.
Well, I've never had it from however long I've been renting. I've been looking at a few places over the years. I've never
but you rented around
this.
Portsmouth, where they just had ex-students, so they probably didn't give a shit.
That's true. But even when I was looking to move out of Portsmouth, there wasn't really a lot of this. So I don't know, but yeah, so we're waiting to basically see if the landlord wants to go ahead with us or not, and then fingers crossed we should find out by the end of this week.
Fair enough.
So that's my life.
Sounds very stressful.
Yeah, it's not been great, Jack.